Hi everybody, today's topic is the law of sines. We're going to continue our work from last time, but today they're going to be all word problems. Here's the note packet that you'll need for today's lesson. Because we're dealing with word problems, it's always highly recommended that you draw a picture. In this case, it will definitely be a triangle to model the situation or the problem. Once you've drawn your diagram, it's always helpful to label the sides and the angles with whatever information that they've provided you. Chances are you'll have to find multiple sides and multiple angles. So you're going to want to assign a variable to represent the measures that need to be found. We want to use lowercase letters for the sides, and then you can either call it missing angle A or missing angle B, or you can call it theta for any angles that might be missing. The law of sines uses a proportion to solve. So we'll have you set up your proportion. Only one piece can be missing in the proportion. So we'll sub in everything that we do know. And again, you should only see one variable present. And then finally, we'll cross multiply so that we can solve for the unknown. Chances are you'll have to keep going and find other pieces that are missing. So it might be setting up another proportion or solving for a missing angle. And remember, you can stop the video at any time if you need to catch up. For our first example, it says one side of a triangular garden is 42.0 feet. The angles on each end of this side measure 66 degrees and 82 degrees. Find the length of the fence needed to enclose the garden. So first thing I did was draw a picture, and I labeled it triangle ABC. They did not give me any letters. I'm just picking those randomly. Here's my missing side of 42.0 feet. And they did say that on either end of that side, we have angle 82 and angle 66. So one of the things I'll need to find is angle C so that I can set up a ratio using angle C and 42 degrees. I'm sorry, 42 feet. So that's my first calculation. I know there are 180 degrees in a triangle, so I subtract off the two I know, and that leaves angle C as 32 degrees. From there, I'm going to set up a sine proportion. I'm starting with sine of 82. That is across from side A, and that's the first variable that I'm going to solve for. And then I'm going to use sine of 32, which is angle C, and the side length of 42 feet. So we'll cross multiply, and this will put it into a horizontal equation, which we're pretty familiar with. To get A alone, we're going to divide both sides by the sine of 32. And when I do that, this is what the calculator returns to me. Remember, if you put this right side into the calculator as a fraction, it may give you some kind of wonky sine or cosine in return. You can just hold down the enter button and slide up to the equivalent sign, and it will convert it to a decimal. Otherwise, I like to put a decimal on my 42, and it will give me a decimal right away. So I rounded it off to the tenths place because in the original problem, they said one side is 42.0 feet. So I'm keeping all my sides in that same format. Now we're going to find side B. So I'm using, again, the sine of 32 and then 42 feet, which is across. And now I'm using sine of 66 and side B. So again, we're going to cross multiply. There's my horizontal equation. We'll divide both sides by sine of 32. And I can find the missing side, rounding it to 72.4. While I did find 3 different pieces of the triangle, the question says, find the length of the fence needed to enclose the garden. This is really a perimeter problem. So I'm going to finish it up with P equals, and I subbed in the 42, the 72.4, and the 78.5, and I added them all together, and I need 192.9 feet of fence. This is a very typical Regents question with all the different parts that need to be found. In example 2, we have 2 radar stations, A and B, and they are 32 miles apart. They locate an airplane X at the same time. The 3 points form angle XAB, which measures 46, and angle XBA, which measures 52. How far is the plane from each station? So we want to draw a diagram first to model. So you can see I have stations A and B, and then they are 32 miles apart. This time they did use 3 letters to indicate which vertex belongs to which angle measure, so those are also labeled. And I'm missing side A, which is across from angle A, and side B, which is across from angle B. X is the airplane. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the angle measure at X. And this is through the triangle angle sum theorem. I'm just subtracting off the pieces I know, and X is 82 degrees. Now I'm going to find my first missing side, which is side A. So sine of 46 is across from side A. And then I'm going to use sine of 82, which is across from side 32. This is something that they provided me. So this side here, sine of 82 over 32, is something I'll probably use in all my setups. We're going to cross multiply. We'll divide both sides by sine of 82. And you can see, again, I'm going to round to the nearest tenth. Their initial side was a whole integer, but it's not an exact answer, so I'm going to give it at least 1 decimal place. We'll do the same thing now for side B. Again, I'm going to use the sine of 82 over 32, which is something they pretty much provided me, and now sine of 52 is to B. So again, I'm going to cross multiply. We'll divide both sides by sine of 82, and my answer for side B, I'm going to round to the nearest tenths, 25.5 miles. For our last example, it says a civil engineer wants to determine the distance to an inaccessible point C in a river. They give me the measure of angle BAC as 67, the distance between A and B is 87.6 feet, and the distance between B and C is 85.3 feet. Find the measure of angle C and the distance between A and C. So I've drawn my model. I am looking for the measure of angle C, and that happens to be located at the inaccessible point in the river. I also have missing side B and the angle measure at B missing. I'm going to start by finding the angle measure at C. So this time I'm going to use sine of 67 compared to 85.3, and then sine of theta is to 87.6. We're going to cross multiply just like we've been doing. This time I want to isolate sine of theta, so we'll divide both sides by 85.3. I'm going to put the whole right side into my iPad. It should return a decimal, and this is the ratio. And now that we want to find the angle measure, we're going to activate our inverse sign, and I'm going to round it off to the nearest whole degree. Now that I know the measure of angle C, I'm going to use the triangle angle sum theorem to find angle B. Even though they didn't ask for it, I will need that measure because I have to use it when I find side B. So angle B is 42 degrees. And now I'm going to move on to find the length of side B. So I'm going to use the sine of 42 is to B. And then again, I'm going to stick with sine of 67 is to 85.3. Most of that information was provided. We'll cross multiply. Here to isolate for B, we'll need to divide both sides by sine of 67. And this is the value of side B. I did give it a tenths place because the other 2 sides also had the tenths place. This is going to be homework number 105, Law of Sines word problems. Make sure you draw a picture for each model. We'll count that as a point. And if you have any questions when you're going through, please email me or text me or give me a call at home. Have a great day.